Morning guys and gals, Froggy here. Well, it's time for an oil change on my Corvette C5, so I'm going to show you how I do it. It's already up on ramps in the front, floor jacks under the lifting points, and I've got some jack stands in the back. Never just trust your floor jacks, always put some jack stands in there too. I like to have it level, tipped maybe 1 or 2 degrees forward so that the oil drains out better. See, I got a level on there. If you're really anal retentive about how level you want it, you can put a level on there. Don't try this on the new C6 C06. It has an aluminum frame. But anyway, just make sure it's at least level, if not tipped a little bit forward. You need a drain pan. Need something to get the old filter off. I've got a couple of things here. This one is just fits around the filter. Well, they both fit around the filter, but this is a strap wrench, and the other one just fits. It comes in different sizes and it fits different filters like that. So we'll use one of those. I know mine takes 7 quarts. Maybe 6.5. I'll put in 6.5 and then I'll check the level. You can overfill the Corvette a little bit, like a half a quart. It won't hurt anything. So let's. Oh, I know. We need one other thing. We need to pull the drain plug. So I forget what the size is, but I'll just take some metric sockets with me underneath there, and we'll pull the plug and start the oil draining out. The drain plug is at the front of the oil pan, right there. It's 13 millimeter, and you want to have the oil warm when you drain it. But remember, your face is going to be right next to the catalytic converters if you're up on jack stands like I am. So don't burn yourself on the catalytic converters. I already loosened up the oil filter, and it's starting to drip a little bit. So I got to get that plug out of there. Okay, it was on a little tight. I broke it loose. Just let it fall into the pan. Don't try to catch it because you'll just make a big mess with your... There. So you just let it fall into the pan. You can fish it out later. Now I've got some nice drain going. Move your pan around a little bit so you catch this little drip here and then the big flow there. You might have to move it once and then you're okay. I like to put a piece of newspaper down. You're bound to get a couple little splashes, and just makes it easier to clean it up. Once that slows down, I'm going to take the oil filter off, and likewise I'm just going to let it fall into the pan, and then I'll fish it out later. And I'm getting a couple of drips on me from the filter. That's okay. This car has an oil life monitor, which is pretty good at predicting when your oil is used up, and mine was down below 20%. I like to change it a little early. When it's below 20%, that's when I do it. And that averages out to about 5,000 miles, from 4,500 to 5,500. I use a full synthetic. Today I'm using Mobil 10W30. The 10 weight instead of 5 weight because I live in Southern California. It doesn't get that cold here, and that's allowed per the factory recommendations. And I'm using a Wix filter. They're very good filters. There's no end to the arguments over what kind of oil and what kind of filter to use, so I'm not going to get into that. You can figure that out for your car. Okay, I unscrewed the oil filter a little bit more, and now that's dripping good. And I'm still catching the drips from the drain plug. So if you got a big enough pan, you can catch both of those on most cars. Okay, I dropped the filter into the pan. I got a little bit of splash. I got to get a towel and clean up a little bit. But now I'm just going to let them drain. Both of those are draining, maybe 5 more minutes. While that finishes draining underneath, let's just pull the dipstick out and the oil filler cap. I like to leave them on so it drains just slightly slower. If you vent the system by opening these up before you crack the drain plug, it could come out a little bit faster. I don't think it makes a whole lot of difference, but this is the way I like to do it anyway. I do the bottom first and then I open up the top. Make sure you've only got one O-ring. The new one should have an O-ring here. This old one, it fell off. If you put a double on there, you're going to have a leak probably. Take the new one and the old one, and I like to match them up. Make sure I'm putting the same. Here we go. Same size, same. See? Okay, it's matched up. Oh, this one is almost done draining. Just leave it out since I already fished it out. And I like to take my finger and get a little oil on it and spread some oil on the new O-ring. Sorry, I got a little out of frame there. Spread some oil so that when I tighten it up, it's not fighting the rubber. It'll just tighten up a little better. And then take a look up at where it's going. Right there. Make sure it's clean. I'll probably wipe it a little bit. And just give it a wipe so that there's no little leaks. And then up we go with the new one. It's a screw-on filter. Some cars have a cartridge filter, like my BMWs have a cartridge filter. So whichever kind it is what it is. Come on, get started there. I must have my angle is off a little bit here. There. Okay, now we got it. I just had it a little bit crooked. Now once you get to where it starts to get tight, right there, only go a half a turn more, half or 2/3 at the most. So I can see where my label is right there. I'm going to turn it till the label comes around over here, and that's tight enough. Okay, I need 2 hands to do that. Okay, I tightened it up. Remember, between a half to 3/4, never more than 3/4, otherwise you're putting it too tight. I think I drained enough out of the pan, so I'm going to put that plug back in. I got to fish it out of the hot oil, so I'm going to get a magnet to fish it out of the hot oil. Hold on. Okay, I fished it out, and this one has a magnet on the end of it, and I'm going to show you. See that black stuff is tiny metal shavings. If you ever find anything that's bigger than this, which is like powder, then you got a problem. But that little bit of powdery, so you can't even, it's literally just like not even as big as sand, it's like powder. That's fine, that's normal. There's a company that will do oil analysis for you. If you take a sample of what I just took out and send it to them, they'll tell you what and how much your engine is wearing out. I've never bothered doing it. I just change my oil a little more frequently than most, and I haven't really had a problem with any engines. So let's put this plug back in, tighten it up. Don't over tighten it, you'll just strip the threads. You probably strip the threads out of the oil pan rather than this plug, and then you'll have to put a new oil pan in. Examine the rubber seal, make sure it looks good. If it looks like it's squashed or flat or it's not there, you need to get a new plug. So this is what I like to see when it's dripping one drop at a time. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, one drop at a time. That's enough. I'm not going to wait any longer. I'm going to plug it up. Okay, let's start filling. I'm going to use a funnel just to make it a little bit easier. You could put it down there real close to the oil filler hole and try and do it that way, but I like to use a funnel. And just put about, put most of it in there, then I just let it drain like that. The design of the oil bottle is such that it'll drain out pretty good. Now while I'm doing that, I let that drain a little bit. I'll start dumping my old oil into 1 gallon containers. I'm not going to show you how to do that. I think you can figure out what I'm doing, just dumping it into 1 gallon containers to bring it back to recycling center. Okay, now we're going to start the engine. We're going to watch our oil pressure gauge. We want to make sure that oil pressure gauge comes up. There she goes. Oil pressure looks good for idle. It's up to 10, 20, 35. Oh, it's up to 40. It's up to 40 psi oil pressure. Now let's go underneath and see if we got any leaks. No leaks from the filter, no leaks from the drain plug, so we're good down here. I don't know if you can see that, but we're at the bottom mark, so we do need 1 more quart. So I'm going to put quart number 7 in there. The car is level, so we're going to add that quart now. Some newer cars might have an oil level, an electronic oil level sensor like my BMW, or it might have a special procedure like the newer Corvettes that have the dry sump system, the Grand Sport or the Z06, Z06, the C6 Z06. This is a C5 Z06. So follow your special procedures if that's what you have. This one is just checked like a regular car. So I'm going to add 1 more quart between the dots. That'll bring it up to there, and I'm good to go. That's about all I've got on changing the oil on a Corvette. If you have any questions, post them up in the comments, and if you want, if this helps you out, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more from Froggy, subscribe to my channel. Froggy out. Have a great weekend. One more thing. Froggy forgot to tell you how to reset your oil life, your change oil soon message. Turn the ignition on. Press the trip button so that the oil life percent is displayed. Press the reset button and hold it for 2 seconds. It should go back to 100%, and turn the key off. So let's try that. Okay, the key is on. We hit the trip button. We've got the oil life remaining. We're hitting reset and holding it. 1001, 1002. There we go. 100%. We're ready to drive. Okay, that's it from Froggy. See you later.